Hey guys, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing great. Today I have a huge book haul for you. I haven't posted a book haul basically all year, so there's honestly more I could add to this, but I think there's like 30 something. But again, these are books that I've bought in like the past like 4 months, I think. So without further ado, I hope you guys all enjoy. So let's start with the books that I got at Barnes & Noble and booksellers and like more full price books before I get into the huge used books part of this video. So for the books that I got at Barnes & Noble, we have a YouTube classic, or a booktube classic I should say, Furyborn by Claire Legrand. This is a YA fantasy revolving around two young queens, a queen of light and a queen of blood. When assassins ambush her best friend, Riel Dardine risks everything to save him, exposing her as one of a pair of prophesized queens, a queen of light and a queen of blood. To prove she is the Sun Queen, Riel must endure 7 elemental magic trials. If she fails, she will be executed unless the trials kill her first. So, a book with magical trials. We've got prophesized queens. It just sounds great. I know a lot of people have loved this book, and I can't wait to see how I like it. I feel like the camera's moving. Okay, try this again. Okay, and the next book that I got at Barnes & Noble was Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Now, this is a book that I've wanted to read since 2018 when it came out, or I think it came out in 2018 or 2017. But this I know very little about, because every single time a person would mention it, they would say it's better if you don't know anything about it. So all I know, and I'm not even going to read the synopsis because I don't want to learn more. All I know is this is following our main character, Laszlo Strange. I think there's some sort of magical library, and I've just heard that the writing in this is just gorgeous. So I'm so excited to get into this one. And then the next stack of books is just from random bookstores and stuff like that. So first we have my current read, which is why it's not in here, and that's Where Dreams Descend by Hanela Angeles, or Janella Angeles, I don't know how you say it, sorry. But this is a YA fantasy revolving around magicians, and there is like a competition for magicians in this mystical city that like the rest of the world doesn't really know much about. Like, they've been isolated and closed off, and whenever people try to ask about like their city in the past, they have no recollection of anything in the past, and they just like don't talk about it. So very mysterious, and we're following our main character, Kalia is how I say it, who is a female magician, and she is going to enter this competition and try to win it. So far, so good, but you can check my rating vlog for that. And then next we have The Bromance Book Club by Alyssa K. Adams, as well as Undercover Bromance. I am missing book 3 because these two were on sale, so that's why I got these. But I adore this series. I also pre-ordered the final one, Isn't It Bromantic? Or I don't know if it's the final one, but you know, the most recent release. I have read this since, and I love all of these. I think my favorite will always be the first one. I just really liked these characters and the, you know, book that they were reading as well. So if you guys haven't heard of this story, this series follows this romance book club, which is a group of guys who read romance books to try to save their marriages, or to, you know, try to land a girl, like to just, you know, try to be the guy these women deserve. And in our main character in the first book is Gavin, who is a baseball player for the Nashville Legends, which is like, you know, the baseball team in this world. And we're following him as he tries to save his marriage with his wife. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked these out, I think they're great. They're very feminist and maybe not the most realistic, but I love them nonetheless. So yeah, definitely give the Bromance Book Club a try if you enjoy romance. While on the romance train, I also got The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I am trash for Christina Lauren, as I believe most of us are at this point. But this is one of their newest releases. I think this came out last year, I believe. Yeah, it came out in 2020, and this is following a sort of like fixer-upper style show where our main character, Carrie, has worked for home and remodeling design couple Melissa and Rusty Trapp for a decade. And I think she's just trying to like save their marriage. Again, it's a romance. I don't really need to know too much. I love the show Fixer Upper and I love Christina Lauren, so we're gonna try this one. Okay, and the next books that I got are King of Scars and Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I am up to Crooked Kingdom now, so I've read the whole, you know, Siege and Storm trilogy, the Grishaverse trilogy, and then I also read Six of Crows. So I'm so excited to get to see more of Nikolai in these two. I don't want to read the synopsis or anything because I'm sure there's spoilers for the other books, but I do just want to show you that these are absolutely gorgeous underneath the dust jackets. I kind of want to put them on my shelves naked, but yeah, they are gorgeous. And that is all the books that I bought new from different bookstores. And now we're gonna get into, oh, actually, sorry, one other one. It was in with my used bookstore stuff because I got it the same day. But the last book that I got from a bookstore was Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. I was at a used book sale, which I'll mention in a moment, and there was a local bookstore in the same town. So I decided to get a book that I've been dying to read, and that was Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. I don't really know much about this, but it's a sci-fi that everyone loves. Our main character is a striker, a member of an elite fighting force that stands as the last defense for the only free nation in the world, Mara. As a refugee, Talon knows firsthand the horrors of the Federation, a world-dominating superpower responsible for destroying nation after nation, which is with its terrifying army of mutant beasts known as ghosts. Okay, reading that just makes me even more excited. But yeah, it's also gorgeous, so I can't wait to have this on my shelves. Okay, now into the used books. So first, I'm gonna start with this big bag of books, which is from a library book sale that I went to over the weekend. This was amazing. Everything was 50 cents to $2, and when you see some of the books that I got, I'm so excited. Hurrah! Books are falling. So first I will start with the mass market romances that I got. I have been wanting to try a pirate romance because Riley from Riley Marie has talked about different pirate romances before, and I've just been like intrigued because I love historical romance. She loves historical romance. She also likes pirate books, so I'm like, maybe I like them too. So I got Once a Scoundrel by Mary Jo Putney. And this, yeah, it's just a pirate book. I don't really feel like the need to explain more about that. Next, we have One Day in Apple Grove by C.H. Admirand. But the reason I got this is because look at that dog on the cover. I mean, yes. This says, welcome to Apple Grove, Ohio. Population 597, a small town with a big heart. Caitlin Mulcahy loves her family. She really does, but sometimes they can drive her to her last shred of sanity. From her dad, I'm not meddling, I just want what's best for you, to her 8 months pregnant older sister, to her younger sister who will do just about anything to avoid real work. Kate just needs to get away even for only an hour. When she sees someone in need of help on the side of the road, of course she's going to pull over. She might even be able to fix his engine. After all, the Mulcahy family is a handy bunch. She's not expecting that former medic Jack Gannon and a little black puppy named Jameson will be the ones who end up rescuing her. I know it sounds like a book for like 40-year-old women, but like the cover is adorable. Next, we have two historical romances from authors that I've read from before, which is Project Duchess by Sabrina Jeffries, which is a first in a series, which honestly, to find a new used book sale is really hard because a lot of them are like book 3. Basically, this is a grumpy grumperson romance, and I'm all there for heroes that start off grumpy, you know? And then we've got Once Upon a Tower by Eloisa James. Like, this is I think book 2 or 3 in the like fairy tale romance series, but I am a sucker for Avon, so I saw that this was released by Avon Books and I decided to give it a go. Who knows if I'll read the first book first. But all of these were 50 cents a piece, so love that. That's the other thing, I was like, I don't really need to know much about the story because it was 50 cents. And the last mass market I got, which was also 50 cents, is A Storm of Swords by J.R.R. Martin. I just combined J.R.R. Tolkien and George R.R. Martin. A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. This is the 3rd book in the Game of Thrones series. I already had book 1 and 2 that I had gotten for 50 cents from a different library sale. So book number 3 we're going to add to the collection. Don't know when I'm going to read these, especially because these, like, the smallest font possible. So, like, you know, my eyes aren't great, as you can tell. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll audiobook these. I don't know. I do like those with the Lord of the Rings books, so maybe. But, got that. And then I got one standard size paperback, which was $1. And that is Just One Day by Gail Forman. I loved the If I Stay duology that she wrote. I read that a couple of years ago and I really enjoyed it. And I've heard great things about this. This, I believe, is a movie with Anne Hathaway in it. I have never seen it. But basically, are 2 characters that randomly meet, I think in New York or something. And they just have 24 hours together. But yeah. It's a very famous book, so I thought I'd give it a whirl. Next, we come to 2 of my favorite books that I got because they're fancy editions of classics. So first we have Robin Hood. I don't know who wrote Robin Hood. Oh, Robin Hood, always so pretty. Robin Hood by Edith Heal. I don't know how they expect you to read that. But yes, so it is this book of Robin Hood, and there's different illustrations. It's got these cool end papers. I love Robin Hood and Robin Hood retellings, so definitely wanted to have Robin Hood on my shelves. And next we have the works of Charles Dickens. So we've got Oliver Twist and A Tale of Two Cities in here. If you didn't know, Oliver Twist is my favorite classic. I've read it so many times, but not in the past like 10 years. So I probably haven't read it since I was a teenager. So I am super excited to have this. I've also never read A Tale of Two Cities. I was not in honors English that year that they read that. I moved up to honors after that year. So I am interested to read that as well. And I love a leather bound edition with the gold edges. Now to try to find room for those on my classic shelves, I don't know how that's going to happen. But that's the whole thing with this. I have no idea where these books are going to go. Okay. And my last deck here is from my favorite used bookstore that is local to me. It is the Used Book Superstore. They've got a few locations in Massachusetts, and oftentimes they'll have 3 for $1 sales or 90% off of one color. They have like different color tags. There's some that I bought that were like $5, and that's like the most I'll spend. Most of the time I'm paying $2 or less. So yeah, definitely recommend if you're in the Massachusetts area. So first from the used bookstore, we have Jim Butcher's Furies of Calderon, book 1 in the Codex Alhira series. I've heard great things about this from a few different people. So this is a fantasy series where for thousands of years the people of Alhira have united against the aggressive and threatening races that inhabit the world, using their unique bonds with the Furies, elementals of earth, air, fire, water, wood, and metal. But in the remote Calderon Valley, the boy Tavi struggles with his lack of fury crafting. At 15, he has no wind fury to help him fly, no fire fury to light his lamps. Yet as the Alirans' most savage enemy, the Marat Horde, returns to the valley, Tavi's courage and resourcefulness will be a power greater than any fury, one that could turn the tides of war. Yeah, it just sounds good, and I really like the elemental sort of magic that I'm sensing here, And like I said, a lot of people I know have really enjoyed this, so I'm excited to see what I think. And then I got some series continuations. So I got Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, so that way I can knock out this Strange the Dreamer duology. Because like I said, I've wanted to read it since 2018, so I'm so happy to finally have both books. The next one I got was Fire by Kristen Kishore. See, I still have the tag on this one. You can see it was $5.79. I loved Graceling when I read that this year, and I've been dying to read Fire, but with the new reprints that they did, I have Graceling and Bitterblue in the original like covers like this, so I wanted Fire to match, and then I'll just get Winterkeep after, and it'll just, that at least that one will look different. But this is book 2, so I didn't want it to go like every other would be the new one, and I don't really have the money to buy a whole new set, so I got this one, and I'm so excited because Cass from Little Book Owl liked this one even more than Graceling. This is one of like her favorite books of all time, and I've been wanting to read it since like 2018 again. So I'm so excited to get to this hopefully soon. Another series continuation, we've got Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. Oh, I also got The Diviners, but I don't feel like grabbing it from the shelf. But Pretend the Diviners is here too. I just got that on 2 different trips, so that's why I forgot. But I tried to read this. I've read The Diviners, loved it, gave it 4 stars. I tried to read this on audiobook, got scared. So I haven't finished it. I've got like 20% maybe into this, and then I stopped. So I'm hoping reading it physically, I won't get as scared. Next, we have The Afterword by E.K. Johnston. This is a fantasy book about female knights. It's been a year since the mysterious godson cured Cadrium's king and ushered in what promised to be a new golden age. The heroes who brought home the gem are renowned in history, or are renowned in story and song. But for 2 fellows on the quest, peace and prosperity didn't come easily. Apprentice knight Calanthe Ironheart wasn't meant for heroism so early in life, and while she has no intention of giving up the fame she's earned, reputation doesn't pay her loans. Calanthe may be forced to betray not her kingdom or her friends, but her own heart as she seeks a stable future for herself and those she loves. But yeah, I don't know, the cover was pretty and it was like 60 cents. See, this is the problem with that bookstore, is sometimes they're so cheap that I just get them. Back to one that was on my TBR, and the last book for this haul, though the longer I look around, the more books I see that I could have put in this video, but I've already been filming for 20 minutes, so I think this is good being the last one. And that is this collector's edition of Tempest and Slaughter by Tamora Pierce. This is book 1 in a series that is a spin-off of the Alana the First series, which is a middle grade series, and then this is the YA series that goes after it, if I'm remembering correctly. So this one we're following Aram Draper, who is on the path to becoming one of the realm's most powerful mages, the youngest student in his class at the Imperial University of Karthik. School setting, yes please. He has a gift with unlimited potential for greatness, for attracting trouble. At his side are his 2 best friends, Varys, a clever girl with an often overlooked talent, and Orzone, the leftover prince with secret ambitions. Together, these 3 friends forge a bond that will one day shape the kingdom. Again, a book that I've heard great things about. Many of my mutuals on Goodreads have read this and loved it, so I'm so excited to see how I will. And finally, I thought that was the last book. I forgot I was going to talk about my Kindle books I got. So the Kindle books that I bought. So recently I've been really into reading books in the Kindle app on my iPad, and I have a bunch of Amazon gift cards, so I bought some ebooks. The first Kindle books that I got are the Bargainer series by Laura Thalassa. So the first one being Rhapsodic, which is a dark fantasy romance following our main character Calypso, who is half siren, half human, and at the very beginning of the book, she accidentally kills her stepfather who has been abusing her, and she finds a business card for a guy called the Bargainer, who is like cleans up your messes in exchange for a bargain with you. So when she calls the bargainer, which there's like a thing they say to summon him, he comes and the story just goes on from there. It's great. I've only read the first book so far, but then I also got the 2 and 2.5 in this series. I just haven't bought the third book. So excited to get back into that one. The next one I've also already read, and that is From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. This is a romance revolving around 2 ice skaters. It's like an enemies to lovers. It's beautiful. It's the most slow burn though. Like nothing happens for the majority of the book, so like be forewarned. Like I was told it was a slow burn, but like I didn't understand like how slow of a slow burn it was. But it's great. Then I got The Guy on the Right by Katie Stewart. This is a romance that Chandler Ainsley has talked about for years, and I've been dying to read it for the entire time. I don't really even remember what the plot is at this point because I've been wanting to read it for so long, but it's another romance. And then the next book that I got is another Mariana Zapata, which is All Roads Lead Here, which is her newest release for this year. And this one we're following an older couple. I don't really know anything else about it, but when I loved From Lukov with Love so much, I just bought the next one. Speaking of Mariana Zapata, we got yet another one. We've got The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, which is following our main character, who the girl is like does stuff for this football team. Like she does a bunch of stuff for them. She's like says she's like a housekeeper and all this other stuff for the team. And when she's about to leave to like quit and get another job, she is approached by a player on the team who's called like the Wall of Winnipeg. And he's like, don't leave. And it's their romance. And then the last book in this haul, I promise it's actually the last book this time, is Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton, which is another dark fantasy romance. As you can tell, I have been listening to some Becca Rex for Becca in the Books because she loves fantasy romance. So I've been dying to read more because, yeah, who doesn't love fantasy and romance? So you put them together, you get fantasy romance. So yeah, so Fortuna Sworn is the last of her kind. Her brother disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with no family or a species to speak of. She hides among humans, spending her days working at a bar and her nights searching for him. Okay. Yes. No, I'm excited. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, just another fantasy romance. I'm stoked to read it. And finally, we've reached the end of the biggest book haul I've ever done. I can probably say that. So I hope you enjoyed my 30 book haul. Clearly I need to go on a book buying ban because I have no room for any of these. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please let me know down below. And I will talk to you guys in another video soon. Bye!